or continue to hate, I should have said. Don't want to be grammatically incorrect with somebody called Bama hater. Kev-O is up next. Hey, Kev-O, you're on the air.
Kevo, Paul, that's okay. Bama hater, what an original nickname.
Yeah, well, thanks, Kevo.
That's okay. Hey, Paul, I was going to pay you a compliment, really. Over the last 10 years I've listened to you. Your show has evolved so much over 10 years. I was going to ask you, back in whenever you were at Louisiana newspaper, did you ever think that you would be, in so many 40-something years, being the calm in a store, the safe harbor for America?
No, I did not, and but you know, and I'm serious, and I've said this a couple of times in the various interviews that I have never been more gratified and proud of what everyone. And when I say everyone, I'm talking about the audience here, because they're the biggest part of this show. What we've all done in the last 4 months. These, as the commissioner said, these have been some of the most difficult conversations in the history of this country, let alone a sports show. And I think especially in the last 4 weeks, as difficult as COVID was, I have never dealt with things like we have dealt with here. And I don't say this to be gratuitous to the audience, but I have learned a great deal about what I no longer need to say in defending a position. It is time to listen. It's also time to be heard. And I know that sounds contradictory, but
no. And I also think, Paul, this is. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, keep going.
I think just your background, your parents, their heritage. It's like you've experienced so many things from your ancestry, being raised in Memphis during a really critical time in the 60s. I mean, what you've done in your life is like, I can't think of a better person to be in your seat right now. And I really mean that. I'm not trying to win you.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, you can kind of joke about having been around so long but yeah, I do. I think life experience is always important. And when I've said this once or twice, but when it comes to race, because I felt like I had a past, and the reason I felt like I had a past was because my parents, in my mind, raised me correctly. They raised me not to hate, not to look at other people, to look at everyone. And I thought that gave me. I thought I could go through the express lane on the conversation. I found out that is not enough.
Well, one thing, I lived in Germany for 3 years working for the military, Paul. You know, I toured the Holocaust museums, and you see things that just your jaw drops, and there's like an evil spirit there. But a lot of people here have never stepped out of their little small pond, so to speak. And I think that's the problem with America is when you get used to something again and again, you find comfort in it. And we have things now that will challenge every belief you have, whether you're a Christian or an atheist. I think America's under attack. But there's still a point to kind of step back and not get emotionally involved so much. There's a place for emotions. But I think you get both sides, left, right. Even poor Victoria Jackson, who I think is from Pluto, I didn't really get her.
I felt badly, I never make excuses. I was trying to fix something technically while she was talking, and I'm trying to decide whether by not hearing her for 5 minutes, did that make it easier to understand or more complicated?
You took the time out. Well,
my only regret is that I heard anything she said, let alone parts of it.
Yeah, I just say since Harvey Updike days of 10 years ago till now, your show has matured, and I think you respect people regardless of their educational level. There's some real, there's some guys who, the elevator doesn't always top, but you do give us both time to talk, and I appreciate that, I really do, because I was a journalism major at Auburn, and I think the way you practice journalism needs to be taught in schools somewhere, because that's long gone, I think. That's my opinion. So, kudos, Paul. God bless you, man.
Thank you very much for saying that. That means a great deal to all of us here. We'll take a break. Final couple of minutes of the show.
You're listening to the Paul Finebaum Show podcast.